Yo, what up, friends? The main event of the evening. What we all came for. Yes, one of the biggest fights. Canelo Saul Alvarez 63 2-2 versus Terence Bud, the illest you know what from Nebraska Crawford. And we got them coming in at 41-0, undefeated, by the way. And let's not forget, Crawford here is going to try to become the first men's boxer to be undisputed champion in 3 weight classes in the 4-belt era. Clarissa Shields just recently did that for the women's side when she defeated Danielle Perkins for the heavyweight title in July. Professor's fun fact there. But anyways, when we're looking at this, let's look at the odds. The odds are 180 favorite in terms of Alvarez. Crawford is a 145 underdog. We also have all heard about the size difference. Obviously, moving up 2 weight classes is huge, going from 147 to 168, which you're going to end up at. Wowzers. What a huge main event. Clubber D, we are starting with you. What are your thoughts on this fight?
Well, I mean, when we first talked about this a while ago, I was like, Styles make fights, but there's weight classes for a reason and things of that nature. Crawford last fought at 154 over a year ago, so he's had time to put the proper weight on and train correctly for this fight. Charlo came out in a recent interview saying that he wished he would have held more weight when he fought Canelo, and he just put on his track shoes the whole fight. I honestly feel Crawford will have a great game plan. He's not a runner. For all you fans saying that he runs. He doesn't run. So what are you talking about? I think he's going to go to the body. I think he's going to do his best to keep Canelo off him, because the main thing is going to be hitting the arms. Canelo's just try to bruise him anywhere. You know what I'm saying? I think that's going to be Canelo's game plan going into this fight. Canelo's going to be the bigger guy, obviously. I'm going to go with a split decision. I'm going to go with Crawford because there's no way in hell you're going to win unanimously against Canelo. This is no way. Ask Floyd, ask Bivol, and we all seen those fights. I'm going to go with Crawford split decision. Caveat, a draw.
See, this is crazy, because when I was making my pick earlier, Clubber D, I was thinking about all the times we've talked about this fight over the past couple of years since it was first announced. And I was thinking about all the times you mentioned that size difference is just going to be too much. And a lot of people agree with you. A lot of people that have been talking about this week, including Mike Tyson, came out and said as much as he wants Crawford to win, he thinks the size difference is just going to be too much. So Mike Tyson agrees with you there. But then you look at somebody like Teddy Atlas, who comes in and points out that, just like you had mentioned just now in Canelo's last fight, not as active anymore. Nope. How can that affect the fight as we're coming in? Plus, as you mentioned as well, Crawford has had time to gain into that actual weight that he's building into. So all of these things, as I was thinking about my pick, I'm also analyzing these things, and I'm thinking, and now that you've said this, I'm like, damn, we were thinking along the same exact line. So that's crazy. But yeah, there you go. Josh, what do you think about all this?
Man, this is crazy. I'll try not to be long-winded. Now, leading up to this, I've been leaning, no stranger to leaning towards Canelo in all of the previous conversations I've had surrounding this. I've leaned in the direction of Canelo Alvarez, factoring in kind of the size, his status there being solidified at 168 pounds, then what it is and what it means for Bud Crawford to jump up 2 weight classes to try and take out the top dog at that weight class. But I've thought long and hard over it for several weeks now, and even here within the last week or so, even harder. I'll say that, Bud, there's just something about him. He is mentally tough. He's 100% dedicated to this. He's going about everything the right way, tactful, meticulous. he's gonna make sure that he comes in there 100% ready to go, and he's put on the weight the right way, which is all you can ask for. And there's something about those guys who don't blow up in the off season or whatever you want to call it, who don't get far beyond what they generally walk around at or whatever it may be. And I think he is one of those guys. He doesn't smoke, doesn't drink. He's 100% dedicated to this sport. And, he's got some dog in him. And I just feel like he has some of that dog in him that might be a little bit different, coming up in Omaha, Nebraska. Bud Crawford, Omaha, Nebraska. I can only imagine there in school and all of that stuff. And he said he used to have to fight all the time. I can only imagine the Jones and the joking and all that stuff that built him up mentally. I think he's mentally tough. He's mentally there. I always say that it's interesting, but we have some historical precedent in terms of a great smaller fighter going up to be a great bigger fighter. And you could argue, okay, where were they at? Whether or not they were both in their primes or whatever, but I'm thinking Carmen Basilio, Sugar Ray Robinson. So Basilio was welterweight champion of the world, went up to beat the middleweight champion, Sugar Ray Robinson. And this was a case where you didn't have the in-between 154-pound class. So essentially like jumping up 2 weight classes. You have Leonard going up, beat Hagler. By that same token, Duran went up, beat Leonard. You could say the top style of fight that he fought. And I think about guys like Barbados Joe Walcott, who was 5'1", but 40, and he could knock out heavyweights, things of that nature. And this is going way back there. So what I'm saying, I say that to say that, man, as I've thought about it and looked at sort of how Crawford has approached this, his confidence and overall expectations, and taking nothing away from Canelo, because I think he is one of those guys who makes it a situation where a smaller great fighter is fighting a bigger great fighter. But I'm going to go ahead, sign, seal, deliver, and say Terence Crawford wins this fight. I'm taking him decision. I'm going to say split decision, but I'm going to go with Terence Crawford. And as I mentioned previously, I've been all in on Canelo, but I just think that there's something, and Crawford has that makeup of some of the guys that I mentioned, like the Basilios, etc., who will go up and, hey, they're not going to be shook or afraid about what's coming back at them because they're on a single mission, and that mission is driven by their own mentality. So I'm going Crawford, split decision.
Wow. And yeah, you make a good point there, because Virgil Hunter, you all know him, who has trained Andre Berto, Andre Ward, so on and so forth, is said that Crawford will have to go ahead and absorb all of, Alvarez's punches. Now, Crawford holds a 3.5-inch reach advantage, but that doesn't mean that if Canelo is able to catch Crawford, which is a if with Crawford's speed, that he does still have heavy hands, especially at that bigger weight. So Hunter said Alvarez will have to quicken his pursuit, as you mentioned, right? Obviously, Canelo's going to have to work to cut off the ring at different points and get in front of him. Yayo, what are your thoughts on this huge, huge main event?
Man, I ain't even tripping about none of this shit. Because what really, as a fan of the sport and as a fan of the boxers, I could say this: Canelo Alvarez is a great fighter. Bud Crawford is a great fighter. But there's some bullshit ass fans out here, fam. And them motherfuckers got me in my bag like, oh, it's the blacks versus the Mexicans. No, man, it's 2 athletes versus 2 athletes.
Right.
But since y'all motherfuckers been talking a lot of shit, big shit. Listen, I'm gonna give y'all some game real quick. A lot of people say that 10 pounds of fat weighs more than 10 pounds of muscle. You ever heard that before?
I've heard it.
I hear it the other way.
I thought it was the other way around. I thought
muscle weighs more than fat.
Oh, muscle weighs more than fat. If
right.
It's 10 pounds of muscle and it's 10 pounds of fat, don't they weigh the same? They both 10 pounds, right?
That's a good
true.
Yeah, you're right.
So listen, man, when we get to the weigh-in, both of them are going to be on weight. That means they both weigh the same amount, right? And I don't know what's fat and I don't know what's muscle. But what I do know is Vegas does not want Canelo to lose. Black folks don't want Crawford to lose. Mexican folks don't want Canelo to lose. It's about to be like a mini civil war. But man, listen. Okay, I'm betting. I'm betting 2 times. I hope I'm riding with Crawford by split decision just because, you know what I'm saying, Mexican people done pissed me off for the last longest people with the shit they've been saying about us. You know what I'm saying? So I'm taking Bud by split decision one way, and then I'm taking a split. I would call it a split draw. I think it'll probably be one card in favor for Canelo and 2 draws, 114, 114.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, inside though, I hope Bud beat the brakes off that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Bud, listen, man, you do not have to take punches, fam. I want to be pissed off watching this fight. I want 3 punches to land per round. I want all 3 of them to be Buds. You know what I'm saying? That's what I want to see. I want it to be ugly so I can talk some slow shit to these motherfuckers that been talking shit.
Slow shit. That might be the new slogan. Slow shit.
Slow shit. Great. David slays Goliath. Yeah, we seen a bit. We didn't seen it in history before. One Goliath, the redhead giant. You got to go, man.
Hey, Canelo went up and fought Kovalev. He jumped to what, 3? Fight Kovalev, 2 or 3 weight classes.
Man, Kovalev was fighting Canelo like he was sparring with his grandmama.
Oh, he had just fought was it light skin Yard? Yeah, Yard. He just fought him like 4 months ago. So
Kovalev didn't punch Canelo hard at all, bro.
Right timing.
I completely agree with what you said about all of the different factions, right? It's Mexican Independence Day. So of course, the contingent is going to be in Vegas hard pause, but also it's his weekend usually, right? That's like his big weekend in Vegas to go out there and show off in front of everyone.
That's Floyd Mayweather's. That's Floyd Mayweather's big weekend. Remember? Did Floyd
around my birthday?
Did Floyd say? Let me hold that, didn't he?
No, but when you also look at it, right, Turkey Al-Sheikh wanted this fight for a reason. He does like Crawford, right? Oh, yeah. And when you're in Vegas, you see these things all the time with these fights. So, how are they really? Are they really decided the right way? So I can completely see everything that has been said: split decision, split draw, I can see every ridiculous card out there that could be given for this fight. What do you think, Skywalker?
Hey, respect to both fighters. This is a good fight. I know it's a 2 weight class difference. Canelo, his last fight against Skull, he was, in a tough fight, having to chase Skull down. Skull was running the whole fight. Mm-hmm. But Crawford, he had a bland performance against a very good fighter in Madrimov. You can't, Madrimov monster, right? I'm not counting Bud out on this fight at all. He's put on the weight correctly. Looks nice. He's a great counter puncher. I think that Canelo is going to be very hesitant on his attacks. We're not going to see an explosive Canelo. I agree with Morning Wombat. We're kind of seeing the tail end of a great fighter in Canelo. This is towards the end of his career, and this is a legacy fight. Bud is the kind of fighter, I'm giving him way more credit than what they gave Jermell Charlo. And there was a lot of believers in Jermell, and we've seen what Canelo did to Jermell. I got Canelo by decision. I don't think he's going to get Bud out of there. I think he's going to be very cautious with Bud because Bud's one of the best counter punchers in the game and the best switch hitter in the game. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So he's going to have to be very intelligent and cautious with Bud. I'm not counting Bud out. I believe Bud could win this if he can score a lot of nice counters on Canelo's offense and just stay away from him, kind of like how Skull did. Get around the ring and outbox. He can possibly outbox Canelo. So that's my theory. If Bud wins, I believe Bud will win by decision, not by knockout, but a very nice fight. And but yeah, I got Canelo by decision, man.
What kind of decision?
Unanimous
decision. All right, cool. Let's get to the comments here. As he was mentioning, more Morning Wombat. I think Canelo is too complacent At this point of his career, the old Canelo who fought Trout and Lara would have cut off the ring. He allowed Skull to circle him for most of the fight. Clever D did say Lara's footwork complicated Canelo. It was a close fight, in my opinion. Jose Diaz, why did Boots do that? Skywalker. Oh, that was a comment you were saying about Skywalker. Got you. Salute to Bruce Gass, Boxing, Jazz, and more. We appreciate you tuning in.
Hello, Bruce.
Morning Wombat also says he seems very entitled because he is Canelo and he's been a big star for so long. Let's not forget, after Bivol outclassed him, Canelo was claiming he won the fight. I think that Crawford is hungrier. He then goes on to say, my main concern is the fact that I think Bud has to outbox Canelo to win, and Canelo always seems to get the benefit of the doubt, as I was mentioning just a couple minutes ago.
Decisions.
On the scorecards in Vegas. Yayo comes in. Canelo had trouble with smaller fighters. Jose Diaz says he looks super dehydrated. Yayo says Canelo's output is trash. Jose Diaz has Terence by decision. So there you go.
I'm wondering how much Canelo's going to weigh day of the fight, because I remember when he fought Amir Khan, or even when he fought Cotto, just like two separate weight classes when they fought. Like Khan said, he was damn near cruiserweight when they fought, and he knocked his head off his shoulders. And when he fought Cotto, he looked so much bigger. I don't know if it was just because he's trying to get revenge on Cotto's older brother that had him rocked back in the day, but I'm really wondering how big Canelo's going to come in for this fight. And I think the key really for Crawford is going to be good to the body. Like Roy Jones thinks he's going to stop him to the body later in the fight, which would be very interesting.
Roy thinks that Bud will stop Canelo.
Yep, to the body.
Hey, I said something. Yeah, I would aim in on that. I wanted to note that I know they announced who the judges are. I can't remember who the judges are. The referee is going to be Steve Taylor, who I think is a solid referee. Got some good experience and all that stuff, so he should let them fight, and he's not the type to jump in there and take a point or anything quick. So I think, this could play out in a multitude of ways here. So it's very interesting, very compelling fight at that as well. And then I was also just thinking of here in the back of my head, remember when Kell Brook jumped up to middleweight to fight Triple G?
Oh, yeah, it's eye socket.
He got Brook down. And I like Brook at that time, and I think he's legit. But man, he just couldn't handle them shots. Now that being said, Crawford, I think the way he's gone about it, he's gonna be a little bit better.
Was that after Earl Spence? The fight directly after Earl Spence? When Earl
went over there, it was the one before it actually. I think it was before,
because he was never the same after that eye socket.
Oh no, you're right. It was after. I think it was after actually.
Because Earl had beat him.
No, there's the other socket that got broke.
Yeah,
I think he had both of them broken.
Both of them broke.
His fight was 2017. I know that for sure.
And then Crawford did him dirty too.
Yeah, he got that other one.
Because he was never the same after that Triple G. I was like, oh Jesus.
So that's kind of a recent example of where a smaller guy went up and got that hurt and put on him. But that being said, Canelo, he did start out at like 140, the low 140s or something like that, if I'm not mistaken, when he was younger. So it's been a gradual rise for him. Crawford started out at 135, and it is interesting that he's only had that one fight at 154. So it's almost like, hey, you're jumping up 3 weight classes in some sense, but very interesting.
And that usually happens with most boxers as they get older, right? They're going to gain weight, they're going to get bigger, they're going to sort of move up in divisions. And if they're a great boxer, like a Clarissa Shields, like a Terence Crawford, like a Monster in a way, like these fighters that can move up multiple divisions and win world championships, when you're that good, sometimes weight just doesn't matter. Now, obviously, that's harder to say in combat sports because weight does make a difference most of the time. But when you have a skilled fighter such as Terence Crawford, sometimes you can just kind of throw the difference out of the window sometimes if you really think that his skill is above and beyond. And when you look at Robert Garcia, the trainer of World Junior Bantamweight champion Bam Rodriguez, he agreed with you, Yayo, and he was saying, and Skywalker, and he was saying it doesn't really matter who he's facing, right? He needs to be able to move, and as Josh was saying, move quickly to the body, duck out of the way, stay out of the way of punches of Canelo, ducking and moving, sticking to the body, and just trying to capture points At the end of rounds, he said he's going to have the perfect fight at the beginning. In those first 6 rounds, he's going to have to gain those points on Canelo then, because obviously as the fight goes on, right, those heavier punchers weigh on, is what he said. And as I'm looking at it, right, I'm agreeing also with what Skywalker said. When you look at Canelo's last fight, especially, but the last 4 or 5 fights, honestly, his activity has precipitously, yes, Clubber D, precipitously decreased. And he's just not as quick as he used to be. And if you still have Terence Crawford, who is quick and can stick and move and can possibly stay away from those liver punches, from those really heavy Canelo punches.
I want to ask you guys something too. This is what might happen in the fight. What happens when you have 2 high IQ fighters in the ring? What happens?
That's ugly.
It's not a good matchup stylistically. Sometimes
somebody's gonna have to press the issue.
Bringing down first Lomachenko the first few rounds before he made him quit.
Nope.
2 high IQ fighters are not going to want to. They're going to be very cautious of each other, right?
Grab him and hold him. When you inside, bud, wrap his ass up. Wait till the referee break you up.
Do like Bivol did. Bivol got in the pocket and got out.
That's cool.
Bivol got in the pocket, did what he had to do. Them stepped away, and Canelo was against the rope. Like, come on. I was like, no.
So it'll be interesting. See who's going to be on the front foot or whatnot. I think both are pretty decent countering, or are very good countering, both of them. So. Yeah, that's gonna play a factor in. I guess that reach edge being in favor of Crawford's got to count for something. When you look at it, and then when you see him standing there, I mean, Crawford, he looks like he's going about it the right way.
I mean, he has 3.5-inch reach, as you mentioned. He can stick and move. He can get in there. He's put the weight on properly, as you said. And if we look at it this way, too, gentlemen, if we think about it this way, Canelo has been basically he has been handpicking opponents the past at least 5-10 fights, which he knows he's going to win most likely. He's also in Vegas most of the time, where the judges have his back and are going to give him decisions when they can. Also, he has ran like he did in the Skull fight. Crawford, on the other hand, now this comes into the point that you just mentioned. If Canelo does run and does hold and does try to stay away from those stick and move punches of Crawford, then Crawford won't be able to fight him like he did in Earl Spence when they were both getting in there and he was able to knock him down 3 times. Right. So I really want to go with Crawford, because I think, as y'all mentioned, he did everything the right way, and he has consistently gotten better year after year after year and hasn't slowed down yet, while Canelo has. The only thing that I come back to, and we'll get, I see you wanted to say something. The only thing I get back to is, how is it going to be judged again in Vegas when Canelo usually has that sort of advantage, right? Go ahead.
What's the biggest shit talking that Crawford's been doing to Canelo? He's been talking, or I mean, what Canelo's been telling Crawford is like, bro, who have you fought? Who's Ricky Burns? Who are your opponents? So a lot of people have questioned Crawford's resume. You know what I'm saying? The Errol Spence fight just put him way up top. I mean, undisputed at 140, but a lot of people question, how he got there. And
he went up against some good fighters. I mean, I think that, of course, it's not like superstars that he was fighting. But that being said, if you even compare it to history, there are always these good fighters, contenders in and around the weight classes or whatever. So I think he went up against a lot of good fighters, contenders who were competing at that particular time, and had he been over there on the PBC side and could have gotten a hold of the likes of the Porters, Spences, and Ugas types earlier, then I think he would have showed himself to be who he is then as well. But unfortunately, the boxing politics got in the way,
My caveat to a lot of that stuff, when I hear certain fans say that who is Crawford fought, my caveat is also, who did Canelo fight without a stipulation, or where were they in their career? Okay, you fought Amir Khan, and that was at a catch weight, I believe. You fought Cotto, and you're way bigger than him. You drain people. You say they can only come in a fight weighing a certain amount. Like Charlo could only be 10 pounds over when they fought. So there's a lot of stipulations on who he fights, even though they're big names. I'll give him Austin Trout. I'll give him that all day. But after Mayweather, when Mayweather drained him those 2 pounds, since then it's kind of like he's always dictated the rules on when he fights somebody and how he fights somebody. So that's always my caveat to that. Yes, they're names, but if I played against Magic Johnson in 93 when he had HIV, it wasn't the same Magic in 88. You know what I mean? So it's like it's just Magic Johnson. I didn't guard him. You know what I'm saying? I just head check. I'm not Karl Malone.
Hey, don't be a sassy Santana, my friend.
Speaking of that, where's Jake at? Where's Jake at, man? He's saying with his chest.
Jake, Jesus Christ.
Hey,
go ahead, John.
Just one other thing, because I was just thinking of it, and not that it's a 1-for-1 or necessarily apples to apples. I was just thinking, say Crawford, we know he's a great fighter. And you look at Canelo opponents, if Crawford was moving up, jumping these weight classes, he took on Jack Ryder or Zach Ryder, the Ryder guy, John Ryder. I would pick Crawford. William Skull, wouldn't we pick Crawford over William Skull, even if he was jumping up over him? So maybe some of that factors in as well, and it just depends on. I think the onus is going to lie largely on Canelo to look like his old self.
Yep.
That greatness of Canelo that he was able to garner, he's going to have to bring that out, I believe, in this contest.
Canelo's record is not going to reflect that he tried to fight Makabu at cruiserweight.
Oh, Makabu.
Oh, golly.
The record's not going to reflect that he tried to do that.
Yeah,
we all know that's some bullshit.
They did a face-off. They did a face-off somewhere.
Pasuda with a side of Pasuda.
Man, they almost saw that bullshit.
Well, that's that strategy stuff right there, because he could have got up there and potentially could have got the cruiserweight title. That strategy right there.
Man, he would have got that record. He would have got that belt for sure. That's why he was going to do it. He wasn't trying to challenge nobody. No challenge.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give him.
Go ahead.
I give him credit for the Plant fight. For sure.
Oh yeah.
That was a tough fight. You know what I'm saying? And Plant really tried to do what he could do. So I give him credit for that one. Sure. Canelo has had some great fights, man, but listen, fellas, he's not Superman. We've seen this dude get beat. We've seen him get cleaned up. People act like the dude ain't like he's unstoppable. The only thing that's unstoppable on that dude is his chin. We've never seen him being cracked. I don't think Bud could crack his chin. We
got cracked once. He did. He was on skates when Cotto's brother fought him back in the day. That's the only time. It's the only time.
Yeah, but I mean, the dude's got one of the best chins in boxing, fam.
That's
so
true.
I just don't. I don't see the only person I could possibly see in the canvas is Bud. I hate to say that shit, but we know that left hook is something serious. You don't know if it's going down low or it's coming up top. So like I said, grab him and hold him.
Ask Charlo. He felt that hook, and then he said, "I'm gonna run. I'm just gonna run."
Charlo went and laid on the ropes. He's like, "Oh, okay, that's a million. That's a million. That's a million."
Bud would do better than Charlo. Charlo really wasn't trying to engage much.
Not at all.
Very, very cautious. I feel like Bud, he's got something in him where I think that he's gonna go for some things.
Once he gets the range, I think once Bud gets the range down, that's really going to dictate the fight. If he realizes where he needs to be to kind of keep Canelo off him and have Canelo come in, pause, that's going to be really how the fight's going to go.
Ooh, that was a hard one.
Wowzers, that was.
I threw it out. I saved myself. I saved it.
Let's get to some comments here. Jose Diaz Crawford by decision. Holy cannoli.
Bevo said he wanted to touch him up at 168 too.
He did.
He ducked that smoke.
He didn't want that
smoke.
But like I said, I had been picking Canelo leading up until this point, but I switched my pick to Crawford. I just think Crawford's going to have it,
Yeah, and again, I mean, Clubber D and I have talked about this fight since it got announced, going on two years, more than 2 years now, and everybody going along the way had agreed. It was kind of the size difference, things like that. But again, 2 years is a long time, and a lot of things can change, and a lot of things have changed. And I agree with Yayo. He's not going to knock him out. He's probably not even going to knock him down. If he's going to win, it's going to have to be by decision. But I'm looking at the trends. Again, I'm an analyst. All right, I look at the numbers. I look at trends. If I see Canelo is going one way in his fights, and I see Crawford is still going the other way in his fights, well, I am only to assume that that's the way it's still going to continue. But then I have to layer in the factor of Vegas, Mexican Independence Weekend, Canelo getting all of these kind of decisions that maybe he doesn't deserve. And I am going off the cuff, and we're doing it, a draw. A straight up draw, just the worst shenanigans ever. Yes, money. That's exactly right.
Certainly.
That's what I said. I said Crawford by split or
you
draw.
make a lot of money for part two
on that.
I'm gonna put some money in. I'm gonna do it. Fuck it, whatever. I'll put $10 on it. We'll see what happens.
They mentioned, and as I had mentioned, they announced who the judges were.
These same judges that were just judging the controversial Manny Pacquiao versus Mario Barrios fight, which Pacquiao never won to see. We've got Tim Cheatham, Max DeLuca,
Cheatham,
Weisfeld.
Cheatham gonna cheat him.
Weisfeld too.
I mean, they're seasoned. They got championship pedigree in terms of their judging and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But man, no, you're right. It's interesting. That's gonna make it.
Motherfuckers got some garlic infused olive oil splashed on their booty hole. Motherfuckers.
Subscribe on YouTube at Ball and Buds for sports and entertainment.